Reborn Wife Strikes Back in the 80s. Chapter 1, The Idiot Spoke. Chapter 1, The Fool Speaks. Ah, a scream broke the tranquility of the morning. Mother, mother, the fool is talking. A tender voice exclaimed. What are you shouting, bluffing? Wang Guiying walked out of the kitchen while wiping her hands on her apron, and glanced at her daughter Guo angrily. 10-year-old Guo was wearing a blue patched top that was washed white, with grey trousers underneath, and a military green school bag slung over her body. She pointed to the side room with horror. Silly, the fool spoke. What idiot? That is your sister-in-law. Wang Guiying glared at her, then exclaimed, What are you talking about? Your sister-in-law is awake. Guo nodded again and again, with shock on his face. Not only did she wake up, she also spoke. Isn't she or she a fool? How can a fool speak? Let's see. Wang Guiying was overjoyed. Her son had married that woman for 2 days and had been lying motionless in the bed. She thought she was going to die, and finally woke up. Hurriedly walked towards his son's house. Guoxiang sat on the bed and stared at the calendar blankly. For several minutes, she finally confirmed that she had crossed over and had worn it into the 1980s. Just now, a little girl opened the curtain and came in. Seeing her sitting, she screamed in fright. She asked, Who are you, to scare people away? Reconsider the room. This is a mud room with white ash. There is a New Year picture of Fua holding a fish on the wall. The fat Fua is naive. Below the New Year picture is a wooden chest of drawers. The side of the cabinet has worn out and the red paint on the surface of the cabinet is also mottled, showing signs of time. A few books and a white enamel teacup are scattered on the cabinet. Next to it are 2 stacked red lacquered wooden boxes. Next to the wooden boxes is a wooden washbasin stand. 2 new towels are hung on the shelf. Below is an enamel washbasin with red flowers on a white background, and under the shelf is a tin thermos with the words, XX People's Commune. Next to the thermos is the door of the room. There is a grey coarse cloth curtain hanging on the door. A calendar is nailed to the side of the curtain, and May 15, 1985 is printed on it. The calendar is still very new. There is still half of the last torn page, revealing the white fibers. I really traveled to the 80s. Guoxiang still feels a little weird. Stood up, his legs staggered, as if he was not used to this body. Stretched out his hands. Ah, the skin is still white, the hands have muscles, and they don't seem to be delicate. Fortunately, if it is a delicate body, she really doesn't know how to control it. My head hurts a bit, and some memory fragments are tumbling in my mind. It is said that the fragments are because of too little memory, only the last 1 or 2 years, and it is very vague. It feels like the original owner of this body has amnesia, and his memory is chaotic. I actually crossed a body without memory, which is really interesting. But that's okay, the core is no longer the original core. Without the original memory, it's all one's own, saving a lot of trouble. But the recent memory is still clear, but not so good. The original owner of was also named Guoxiang, and in that limited memory, he seemed to be saved by the current adoptive parents a year ago. Originally, they planned to marry her to their son who had been a bachelor for many years as a daughter-in-law. Who knew that after she was rescued, she was a little silly and dumbfounded. They were immediately dumbfounded. No matter how bad his son is, he can't marry a fool to be his wife. If he reborn a little fool, the Guo family will be broken. The name Guoxiang originally belonged to the youngest daughter of the Guo family, not her own. She was adopted from an early age. She was also going to raise her son as a daughter-in-law, but she fell ill when she was 10 years old. Died. But the country folks don't know what to cancel their hukou, there is always such a person on the hukou. The reason why is not called Shui, Hua, Fang and other public names, seems to be because this is Xiangnan. They were too lazy to think about the name, so they took the Chinese character for Xiang. After they rescued the current Guoxiang, they directly gave her the name on the account. In other words, Guoxiang was originally not Guoxiang, because of amnesia, they didn't know her name, so everyone called her Guoxiang. Changing straight, the later Guoxiang came across and met this name. Although her name was often ridiculed as Guoxiang Guodashia in later generations, she was pretty careless at first, but she didn't care at all. She was very lucky, but fortunately she was not named Suehua, or she would rather die again. Let's talk about recent events. The original owner, Guoxiang, fell into the river somehow, and was rescued by a worker's brother who came back to visit relatives. It was a good thing, but instead of grateful, the Guo family said that you saved someone and touched the girl's body, and you are responsible. Wang Guiying said that the Guo family just refused to let go, saying that if they didn't agree, they would go to her son's unit to sue him and let him lose his job. There is really no way for Wang Guiying to grit his teeth and agree. The Guo family took the opportunity to blackmail a large amount of gift money, a full 1,000 yuan. It's only the early 1980s. At this time, 1,000 yuan is simply a sky-high price. The average gift is 1 or 200, that is, the richest people in the city can only be 500 at most. The Guo family knows that workers' wages are high and they are extorted. Made a fortune. Not only sent the fool away, but also gave the son the money to take the wife, and even renovated the old house. The whole family was so happy that they woke up in dreams. On the day of the wedding, the Guo family sent people there. When they were sent, they were still in a coma. The Guo family lied that Guoxiang was just unwell. 2 days later, it was fine. As a result, they died and the later generations of Guoxiang wore them. Come over. The worker's brother, that is, Guoxiang's current husband, Gu Zhennan, left in a hurry on the second day of the wedding. It seemed that there was something urgent in the work unit, so Guoxiang still doesn't know what he looks like. Thinking of these Guoxiang, he was a little bit dumbfounded. He couldn't think of his celibacy in his previous life. In this life, he married early. However, Gu Zhennan married herself under such circumstances, and he certainly did not like it. Such a marriage is destined to be unhappy. So, let's find a chance to get a divorce. Of course, if you really have to pay back the gift money that was blackmailed, you don't want to owe him too much. However, now that I don't know anything about this place and have no money, I should settle down and take a look. I moved my body for a while, this body is still strong, but it should be a little stiff after not exercising for a long time. She was a surgeon in her previous life. Good physical fitness is a prerequisite for a surgeon. So she will go to the gym when she goes to get off work, and she has also learned boxing before, and she has good skills. This body is a bit stiff, it seems to have to exercise. The room was dark. Guoxiang lifted the curtain and walked out. The strong sunlight instantly shone in. She squinted her eyes uncomfortably, and opened her eyes after adjusting to it for a while. A woman in her 50s wearing a grey-blue dress appeared before her eyes. This should be Gu Zhennan's mother, her current mother-in-law. Are you? Guoxiang pretended not to know, after all, he had just woke up. I'm a mother, that is, Zhennan's mother, your mother-in-law. Didn't your parents tell you? Wang Guiying said quickly. Mother? Guoxiang hesitated, although he was a little awkward, he finally called out. Hey, it's me, Xiang, how are you? Wang Guiying looked at Guoxiang in surprise. Guoxiang nodded, Wang Guiying burst into tears, her hands clasped together, thank God, Bodhisattva bless you, are you a fool? Guoxiang didn't know how to answer, scratching the back of his head habitually, only to realize that he was actually wearing 2 long twisted braids, and the braids were hanging on his chest. I was just sick before, and I was a little confused, but now I am all right. Guoxiang smiled. Great, Bodhisattva bless, Bodhisattva bless. Wang Guiying cried with joy, we have hope for the Gu family. 2 days ago, she died of worry. Originally, her son had a good future in the work unit. Who knew that saving someone would save her troubles? She married a fool and became a wife. Just thinking about it, she got angry. The son is so good, how can she have the face to meet her dead wife in the future with such a daughter-in-law? Fortunately, God bless, the daughter-in-law is actually normal. Although the son has no choice but to marry her, as long as the person is better, the life will be long in the future, and there will always be feelings after getting along for a long time. She and the child's father also came here in the same way. Isn't the same kind of affection and love for decades? Well, are you hungry? My mother is about to cook sweet potato porridge, do you want to come together? Wang Guiying looked at her daughter-in-law, so she saw that the child was quite handsome, worthy of her son. Okay. Guoxiang nodded. She really wanted to see what a rural family was like in the 1980s. But when Wang Guiying asked her to sit in front of the stove to help light the fire, she was dumbfounded. No, let alone this wood-burning stove, she had never seen it before, and even the gas stove of later generations had not been used several times. She had a very good family in her previous life. Her father was a university professor, her mother was a company president, and she had a babysitter at home. She had taken care of homework since she was a child, not to mention housework in this era. She really didn't know how to do it at all. Randomly stuffed firewood into the stove, not only did not burn the fire, but also made himself ashamed. Wang Guiying can't laugh or cry, can't even set fire. Didn't you do housework at home before? But think about it, she used to be a fool, maybe she can't teach at all, forget it, she will teach it slowly in the future. So he called his 10-year-old daughter, Gu Guo, to help. Gu Guo was unwilling to do so, she glanced at Guoxiang and whispered stupid, behind her back, but Wang Guiying heard it and glared at her, call my sister-in-law, no big or small, no screaming in the future. She is a fool. Gu Guo said unconvincingly. How did this sister-in-law come, but she knew that her elder brother didn't like her at all. Her family forced her eldest brother to marry, and she even knocked a lot of money. That was the money for her and her second brother to study. Now the money is gone, and she still owes a debt. She hates her to death. It's okay, I'll be fine later. Guoxiang smiled and stretched out his hand to touch Gu Guo's head. Xiao Guo tilted his head and hit him, don't get close to me, I don't like you. Guoxiang's hand stiffened and smiled awkwardly. The bear kid is looking for a fight? But forget it. If you don't bargain, you won't bargain. Maybe you won't be a sister-in-law in a few days, it doesn't matter. The old book, The Rebirth of 80 Years Wedding Pets, is finally released. I will continue to write the old book while completing this book. End of this chapter. Reborn Wife Strikes Back in the 80s. Chapter 2, I Found the Treasure. Chapter 2, I Found a Treasure. Not long after the sweet potato porridge was cooked, Wang Guiying filled Guo with a bowl, and Guoxiang served a large bowl. It smells so good. Guoxiang picked up the porridge and smelled it, his stomach groaned, and she smiled awkwardly, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten for 2 days, can I not be hungry? Hurry up. Wang Guiying smiled, put an egg in her bowl, and pushed a small dish of kimchi in front of her. Thank you, mother. Guoxiang Chao. Wang Guiying smiled, picked up the chopsticks and stirred it, blew it, and snored and ate it. Wang Guiying didn't dislike her when she saw her. She ate deliciously, with a smile on her face. It seemed that this daughter-in-law was well able to support her. Guo took the chopsticks and poked into the bowl, watching Guoxiang eat deliciously, his face smelly. Eat the fruit quickly, and go to school after eating. Wang Guiying looked at Gu Guo, who was eating sweet potato porridge slowly. It's sweet potato porridge again, I don't want to eat it. Gu Guo replied angrily, if it weren't for her, we could have white rice. Also, why did she have eggs but I didn't? Give it to a fool, mother. Eccentric. Guoxiang's hand holding the egg stiffened. Is this family so poor? Can't even eat an egg? Can come up with 1,000 yuan gift money, logically speaking, it should not be poor. She didn't know that most of the money was borrowed. Wang Guiying was a little embarrassed, tapped Guo's head with chopsticks. What are you talking about? Your sister-in-law was just sick, what happened to an egg? Eat quickly, go to school hungry if you don't eat. Guoxiang looked at Guo and Wang Guiying. The eggs in the bowl couldn't be eaten. Picked up the eggs and sent them to Guo's bowl, but Guo didn't appreciate it. You have eaten your saliva, who wants to eat it? After I put down the bowls and chopsticks, I stopped eating the porridge. I pulled the strap of my school bag and walked out. Wait, I'll take you there. Guoxiang quickly finished eating the porridge in the bowl and stood up. Who wants you to send it? Gu Guo put on a stinky face. I don't want a fool to send me off, I'm ashamed. How do you say this, kid? Wang Guiying's face sank. This is your sister-in-law, not a fool. You have seen it all. She is fine now, she is not stupid. Why is she so rude? Gu's children can be poor, but they can't be uneducated. Forget it, mother, Guo is still young, it's okay. Guoxiang said quickly. She didn't mind. The fool said that it was Guoxiang before, not her, and she wouldn't take a seat by herself. Furthermore, it is normal for Guo to be angry when her name is not right. Who wants you to say good things? It's pretentious. Gu Guo gave Guoxiang a blank look, then ignored her and ran out with her school bag on her back. Xiang, you see, she is all used to motherhood, so ignore her. Wang Guiying was a little embarrassed. It's okay. Guoxiang shook his head. In his previous life, I saw a lot of bear children. Guo is nothing like this. Even bear children can treat him subduedly. After speaking, he followed Gu Guo slowly, while looking at the surrounding environment. The countryside in the 1980s was really backward, almost all of them were adobe houses, not many brick houses. The road is also bumpy, and I walked for a few minutes and got a foot in the mud. Watching Gu Guo walk into the village primary school, Guoxiang just walked back along the same path. When I got home, Wang Guiying was picking the beans. Guoxiang looked for a small bench and sat down, and asked Wang Guiying how to pick it, and helped him pick it up. Have you never done it at home before? Wang Guiying couldn't help asking. I used to be confused, I would just sit in the room and know nothing. Guoxiang smiled embarrassedly. No wonder she is so white. Wang Guiying nodded, and it seems that she has never worked in the ground, so her skin is dazzling, but it is really beautiful, not like a countryman at all, but like a city person. Seeing that she has a good temper and is willing to learn to do housework, Wang Guiying is quite happy. As long as she is willing to learn, there is nothing she can't learn. After picking the beans, Wang Guiying puts the beans on the dustpan to dry. They are ready to put them in a kimchi jar to make capers. Almost every household in Shonan will make kimchi. You can soak everything, such as beans, peppers, radishes, and garlic moss. In summer, there is no taste in your mouth. A single sour radish can eat a bowl of rice. However, there are very few families who can eat rice at this time. Almost every household eats sweet potatoes, either sweet potato porridge or sweet potato rice. Some even don't even have rice and only eat sweet potatoes. Fortunately, sweet potatoes can be hungry, otherwise I don't know how many people will starve to death. The place where Gu's family is located is a famous poor county. Other places rely on mountains, water and draft water. Here there is nothing to rely on, and there is little land. One person can divide 3 to 4 fields. For example, the 4 people of the Gu family have less than 2 acres of land, and they have to pay public rations. Had it not been for the sweet potatoes, I would have starved to death. Originally, Gu Zhenan had a better salary than other families, but his father fell ill a few years ago and owed a debt. Later, he passed away without a cure. This has just finished paying off the debt. Who knows that he owed hundreds of yuan after being blackmailed by the Guo family. However, Wang Guiying is not worried, because her son is an oil worker, whose salary is twice as high as that of ordinary workers. He can pay his debts after a year or 2 of hard work. But she knows that her son is very hard, and the work in the oil field is dirty and tiring, and she doesn't have a home all year round, otherwise she can't have so much more than others. In the past, the Gu family was too poor, owed a debt, and had younger brothers and sisters to support, so Gu Zhenan did not marry when he was more than 20 years old. Later, he became an oil worker with a salary of more than 70 yuan. The people are almost breaking the threshold, who knows they were cut off by the Guo family. Families that had surpluses have become debt-ridden again. Fortunately, Guoxiang is now normal, otherwise Wang Guiying would really cry to death. After drying the beans, Wang Guiying carried A to the field behind the yard, ready to turn over and plant some pepper seedlings, and when the weather was hot, there would be peppers to eat. Mother, what is this going to do? Guoxiang asked curiously. She had never lived in the country before, and everything felt very fresh. Turn over the ground and plant some pepper seedlings. After a month, there will be peppers to eat. Wang Guiying said. Let me come. Guoxiang took the hoe. Will you? Wang Guiying looked at her suspiciously. You teach me. Guoxiang laughed. Wang Guiying nodded, took the and demonstrated it first. Guoxiang understood, she came to dig. Holding the and digging into the ground forcefully, I dug a big hole, which shocked Wang Guiying. The daughter-in-law was very strong. You don't need to dig that deep, just half a palm deep. Wang Guiying, who has no education and doesn't know how to use a unit of measurement, made a gesture in her hand. Guoxiang looked at her palm, which was about 5 or 6 centimeters long, nodded, raised his and continued digging. In a few clicks, the depth becomes even. When Wang Guiying saw it, she did a good job. Her daughter-in-law is not only not stupid, but also very clever, she found a treasure. Upload new books, add favorites to favorites. End of this chapter. Reborn wife strikes back in the 80s. Chapter 3, It's nice to have a sister-in-law. Chapter 3, It's nice to have a sister-in-law. After planting the peppers, Wang Guiying found pig grass in the field again. From the separation of the fields to the households, each household can raise chickens and pigs. Gu's family also raises a pig. Naturally, there is no food for the pigs to eat. They can only go outside to mow pig grass, sometimes adding a little sweet potato vine and rice bran, but also feed the pigs. Up. At the end of the year, you can save some money as soon as you sell the pigs. Guoxiang asked Wang Guiying which hogweed was, carefully identified the hogweed in the basket, and immediately took it down, and helped to find it. Wang Guiying was satisfied to see that she was so diligent. I found the pig grass and returned home, and helped to chop it up, put it in a basket, and boil it in a pot for the pigs to eat. It suddenly rained heavily at noon. Wang Guiying picked up an oil paper umbrella and said, Xiang, look at the house, I will give Guo an umbrella. She will definitely not be able to come back after such heavy rain. Guoxiang looked at the pouring rain outside and thought about the mud on the road. At this moment, he did not know what to turn into. Mother, let me go, you are at home, and I will pick Guo. Guoxiang stood up, Wang Guiying is not too young, the rain is so heavy, what should I do in case of a fall? The old man does not survive a fall. That's okay. Wang Guiying was very happy to see her daughter-in-law being so proactive. She handed Guoxiang the oil paper umbrella in her hand. She saw that she was wearing cloth shoes on her feet, and she would definitely step on the mud later. Wait, put on your rain boots before you go, the road is terrible. Wang Guiying took out the rain boots she wore from the farm tool storage room and handed it to Guoxiang, put it on. Thank you, mother. Guoxiang nodded. In fact, she didn't care. Although the family background was good, she was not a hypocritical person. Just come back and wash. But since it is the kindness of the elderly, it is natural to appreciate it. Changed into rain boots and walked to Guguo's school under an umbrella. On the road, there are parents who pick up their children. Walking along the way, the road becomes more and more rotten. Some people can't touch the ground with their heels, and there are blotches of mud marks behind their pants. Walking to school, because of the heavy rain, the child did not wait at the school gate. Guoxiang and other parents walked into the school together and realized that he had forgotten to ask Gu Guo how many grades he was in. After hesitating, I saw Gu Guo standing under the eaves in front of the classroom, looking helplessly at the rain. Guo, will your family give you an umbrella later? Asked a little fat man next to Gu Guo. I don't know. Gu Guo replied grimly. Mother is so busy and there is only one fool in the house. She didn't give her a good face in the morning, so it's strange that she would give herself an umbrella. Then my mother will come and let's go together. The little fat man said again. Gu Guo is non-committal, there is really no way it can do it. Was thinking that a familiar face appeared in front of him, Guo. Guoxiang waved his hand to Gu Guo and shouted. Gu Guo opened her mouth wide in surprise, she did not expect Guoxiang would come to pick herself up. Guo, who is this? He looks so good. The little fat man stabbed Gu Guo with an elbow curiously. She is. Gu Guo pursed her lips reluctantly to say that she is her own sister-in-law. She wouldn't be your sister-in-law. Isn't your sister-in-law a fool? The little fat man widened his eyes. He also knew that Gu Guo's brother had just married a daughter-in-law. Who else could he have if he wasn't her sister-in-law? You are a fool, and your whole family is a fool. Gu Guo was upset. The fool could only say to himself, why do others call his sister-in-law fool? Guoxiang pushed and laughed. This bear child still knows how to protect herself. Of course, she may not protect herself, but her family. Now she can barely be regarded as her family. Suddenly felt a little warm in my heart. Little classmate, hello, I am Guo's sister-in-law, and my name is Guoxiang. Guoxiang waved his hand to the little fat man. Oh, my sister-in-law. The little fat man blushed, and no one has ever greeted him actively. Guo's sister-in-law is really special. Who is your sister-in-law? Gu Guo glared at the little fat man. That. The little fat man was dumbfounded, not knowing what to say. Let's go. Gu Guo got under Guoxiang's umbrella and pulled her clothes awkwardly, waved to the little fat man and walked into the rain. But I was still angry in my heart. I didn't want to be so close to Guoxiang and kept a distance from her. Guoxiang Xiao didn't care about her, moved the umbrella to her side, and half of his shoulder was wet. After walking out of the school gate, Gu Guo stopped abruptly, staring at the front in a daze. Guoxiang then noticed that Gu Guo was wearing a pair of brand new sneakers, which seemed to be brought back by Gu Zhinan the other day. The big puddle in front is full of silt. If you walk past the little white shoes, you will become little black shoes. I will carry you on my back. Guoxiang said. No need. Gu Guo turned her face awkwardly. I took off my shoes and went over barefoot. The rain is so heavy and the temperature has dropped. What should I do if I catch a cold later? Guoxiang walked over to Gu Guo. If you don't think about yourself, consider your mother. If you are sick, your mother will have to take care of you. Take care of your home. Are you going to make your mother tired? Gu Guo bit her lip. Then you won't help mother. I don't know anything now. I can't learn for a while. Guoxiang's face was a little hot. I will learn from now on. Don't be awkward now. I will tell you what you are afraid of. I am your sister-in-law, your brother is not at home, I should take care of you. Gu Guo's heart moved, and she raised her head to look at her sister-in-law. Since the death of my father, the family has been supported by my mother. The eldest brother has not been at home for many years, and the second brother is studying in the county. She always feels that there is something missing at home. Now the sister-in-law behaves like a family leader. Come on. Guoxiang saw that Gu Guo was moving. He squatted down while hitting the iron while it was hot. Gu Guo hesitated, and took the umbrella and climbed up to Guoxiang's back. She was very tall, about 1.7 meters. This is rare in the countryside, and some men are not as tall as her. Her shoulders are very strong, and her arms are also very strong. Gu Guo suddenly feels very safe. Maybe it would be nice to have a sister-in-law. After walking through the muddy road, Gu Guo said nothing about Guoxiang's back. She struggled and slipped off her back. Guoxiang held her hand tightly and watched her pursing her mouth and bulging cheeks. Secretly funny. In her previous life, she was the youngest at home. She had an older brother and an older sister. Now it feels good to have a younger sister. However, thinking of your marriage with Gu Zhinan is a bit of a headache. It is difficult to maintain a marriage without feelings, right? Although people in this era rarely get divorced, how many are really happy? It's not a lifetime of slapstick and slapstick. But Guoxiang didn't want to make do. You can make do with what you eat, and do with what you wear, but marriage can't make do. It takes a lifetime, and it's tiring to think about it. She is an unmarriage activist. She has not been married for 35 years in her previous life, and she has no such idea in this life. What's more, if you want to have a child, you have to have sex. She can't imagine how she can do it without feelings. She didn't want to be just a fertility tool. Upload new book, ask for collection, ask for recommendation ticket. End of this chapter. Reborn wife strikes back in the 80s. Chapter 4, Idiot can read. Chapter 4, A fool can still read. Wang Guiying saw the two come back and quickly took the umbrella. He saw that half of Guoxiang's body was wet, but Guo was not wet at all, and he immediately understood what was going on. The look in Guoxiang's eyes became much softer. Quickly, I'm making soup, you both go to the kitchen to drink a bowl, so as not to get cold. Wang Guiying said hurriedly. The two of them responded and walked into the kitchen together. Guoxiang took a bowl and scooped 2 bowls of soup from the pot, handed Guo a bowl, and had a bowl for himself, and the two squatted by the stove and drank. Through the steaming heat in the bowl, Guo saw her sister-in-law's bright eyes, her delicate face flushed, she saw herself looking at her, smiling at herself, she was still a little uncomfortable, turning her face away from her. Guoxiang laughed, awkward child. After lunch, the rain stopped. Guo put on her rain boots and the road was still bad. She insisted on going to school by herself. Guoxiang didn't go anywhere in the afternoon. It's better to stay at home if it's muddy everywhere. However, in this era, there are neither mobile phones nor computers. The family is poor and there is no TV. It is really boring. Guoxiang flipped through the books on the chest of drawers. They all belonged to Gu Zhennan. They were books on petroleum and machinery. She was curious, he was an oil worker. His father was a professor at the University of Petroleum in his previous life, but he did not expect that he was still connected with oil in this life. Opening the drawer of the chest of drawers, I found something similar to a certificate of merit. When I picked it up, it turned out to be a marriage certificate. It is the marriage certificate between himself and Gu Zhennan. At this time, the marriage certificate was just a piece of paper, with no photos on it. It just stated the year and month when XX and XX were married. Guoxiang wondered, the two of them also got the certificate. Wasn't she silly before? I just think about it, the current marriage certificate doesn't even have a photo. People who just ask someone to get the certificate at the Civil Affairs Bureau don't know it. Anyway, it's okay to have an account book. In this case, if you want to get a divorce, it will be more troublesome, and you have to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to leave. But as long as Gu Zhennan agrees, it shouldn't be difficult, right? Guoxiang looked at the marriage certificate and found that he was 20 years old and Gu Zhennan was 25 years old. Although 25-year-old is already considered late in this era, but it is still a little fresh meat in later generations. Thinking that he had lived for 35 years in his previous life, 10 years older than him. Is this an old cow eating tender grass? He is the tender grass. Guoxiang couldn't help laughing. There is also a small mirror in the drawer. Guoxiang picked up the mirror and saw the people inside. He couldn't help being shocked. This appearance was almost like his previous life, if it weren't for wearing this soiled clothes and 2 big braids. She almost thought she was wearing it. But this is better, otherwise it should be very uncomfortable to face others. Having nothing to do this afternoon, Guoxiang took Gu Zhennan's book and read it. I finished reading a few books soon. It's great, the memorable skills in previous lives are still there, and I haven't been able to wear them for nothing. It's still sweet potato porridge at night. Guoxiang feels acceptable after eating 2 meals, but it's a bit greasy to eat this for 3 meals. Mother, don't you have rice at home? Guoxiang asked. Guo was angry when he heard that. Are you really stupid or fake? In order to marry you, the family owes a lot of debts, how can there be money to buy rice? Sweet potato porridge is good. The little girl's meal is all sweet potatoes. Woolen cloth. Guoxiang's face suddenly burned. In her previous life, she had never suffered from a pampering life. She really did not expect that the family of this era would be so difficult, even without food. You can't blame your sister-in-law, she was still stupid, she didn't know. Wang Guiying squinted Guo and said to Guoxiang, Xiang, don't blame Guo, she was angry. It was originally this year. It's fine, because of your gift money, our family owes a large debt. But don't worry, Zhennan will send the money back soon, and then there will be money to buy rice. Do a lot? Guoxiang asked. 600 yuan. Wang Guiying sighed. Talked about the past to Guoxiang while eating. Jinan was admitted to the university for the college entrance examination, but his father had been sick for many years and owed a debt. He really had no money. He took the initiative to say nothing. He went to a forest farm in the province to work as a temporary worker with others. Work. Loading and unloading workers are individual labor, hard and tired, and the salary is not high. In those 2 years, he frugally paid off some debts one after another. Then there was a big fire in the forest farm. Jinan and others worked hard to fight the fire. After saving the country's loss in time, he got a formal job. But that time he was also seriously injured. When it came to Wang Guiying's eyes, her eyes turned red. They did meritorious service at that time. In order to reward them with the opportunity to choose a job, Jinan chose to be an oil worker in the northeast, which is thousands of miles away, because the salary of oil workers is higher than that of ordinary people. Wang Guiying's voice was a little choked. Jinan's job was earned by his life. Guoxiang pursed his mouth. It turned out that the Gu family had a difficult life before. My brother has a high salary after becoming an oil worker, and he has paid off all his debts in the past 2 years. But he was blackmailed by your family and owed a large sum of 600 yuan. Can you make it? Course there was resentment in his voice. Fortunately, he has a good job and face, otherwise he can't borrow so much money. Wang Guiying sighed. Guoxiang looked down. It turned out that this was the case. No wonder Guo was angry, she was distressed by her brother. Guoxiang thought in his heart that he must pay the money back. Although it wasn't her fault, after all, after borrowing this body, I should pay back what I should pay back, so I can go with peace of mind later. After dinner in the evening, Gu Guo put down the bowl and said that she would go to the next door Qin Xiaonyo to play. Do your homework first, and I will check your homework later. Guoxiang said as he closed the bowl. Children should develop the habit of playing after finishing their homework, and they will become conscious of reading later. Do you recognize you? Gu Guo curled his lips. There are not many people who can read in this era, let alone a girl, and she used to be a fool. How fresh. Guoxiang laughed. He graduated from the medical university with a master's degree, and he also studied abroad. But when I thought of my identity in this life, I remembered that what I said was wrong, so I pretended to tilt my head. I can't remember the past, but I can understand all the books your brother left at home. Just blow it. Gu Guo looked at her suspiciously. The books of her brother are not ordinary books. They are all professional books. Can you read them casually? Why is she so unbelievable? Wang Guiying was very happy when she heard it. She thought her son had married a fool, but who knew he was a literate man? In order to prove the truth of what Guoxiang said, Gu Guo stopped playing with Qin Xiaonyo. She took out her homework to write, and asked Guoxiang if she didn't understand. She wanted to see her jokes. Who knew she would answer her questions? Solving the problem is clearer than the teacher said. Now Gu Guo is dumbfounded. Her sister-in-law is really educated. Wasn't she a fool before? Can a fool still read? Wang Guiying watched Guoxiang earnestly counseling Guo while holding the soles of the shoes. The more she looked at her, the more satisfied she became. She was illiterate and could not teach Guo. Now that her daughter-in-law is educated, she feels more happy. Before going to bed, Guoxiang boiled a pot of hot water and took a bath. He had been lying in bed for the first 2 days and his body was almost rotten. Today, he was caught in the rain again, and his body was refreshed after a wash. When I changed clothes, I realized that I only had 2 clothes, a gray-blue shirt and a floral shirt. There was nothing left. The Guo family was really stingy. There was no dowry with such a colorful gift. The Gu family really suffered a loss. I really don't want to wear clothes like this, but I can't do it, just do it, and buy it later when I have money. When I took the clothes, I found that there was 5 yuan under the clothes, which should have been left by Gu Zhenan. She would not pick 5 yuan for later generations and fall on the ground, but in this period, meat was only more than 1 yuan and 1 catty, and grain was only 1 cent and 1 catty. 5 yuan is really not less. Gu Zhennan's salary should be only a few dozen yuan, and even if he was cheated by the Guo family like this, he can still leave himself 5 yuan. It seems that he is not a stingy person. But this life is too hard, I don't even have to eat. Guo Xiang decided to visit the village tomorrow to see if he could find any business opportunities to make a fortune and help a group of families. End of this chapter. Reborn wife strikes back in the 80s. Chapter 5, Bear Child owes a beating. Chapter 5 The Bear Child owes a beating. Gu Guo'er still went to school the next day, and Guo Xiang went to the village for a tour. The village is quite big, with hundreds of families. It is mainly built on the side of a small river called Maihuaxi. The riverbed is only 10 meters wide, the water is not deep, and boats are not allowed, but there are people fishing on it with bamboo rafts. There are mountains around the village, but the mountains are barren, full of weeds and few trees. The fields in the village are almost all terraced. They are narrow and small, and they have to climb hills. It is quite difficult to plant them. This place is really poor. It is a typical poor village. In his previous life, Guo Xiang also read 1 or 2 novels about traveling through the mountains. What about going up the mountain to pick herbs, and going down the river to catch fish and shrimps and sell them at the market? It simply doesn't work here, because there is nothing. Guo Xiang sighed, it seems that if you want to make money, you can only go out. When I went back, I saw someone fishing by the river, so I went up to watch the excitement. There was an old man with half-white hair wearing a hat and sitting under a tree by the river. Guo Xiang looked over and saw that there were a lot of fish in the bucket, but they were not big, the largest was only 3 fingers wide. Most of them are small fish with 1 or 2 fingers. Thinking of the fish soup cooked by his mother in the previous life, Guo Xiang was a little bit greedy. Master, do you sell this fish? Guo Xiang asked. Do you want to buy? The uncle looked at her and didn't seem to know her. Which one are you? Whose guest? I belong to Gu Zhennan's family. Guo Xiang was a little embarrassed. She was a little embarrassed to marry her in her original form. Are you Gu's newly married daughter-in-law? You don't look stupid. The uncle looked at her in surprise. That. Guo Xiang smiled awkwardly, I was a little confused a while ago, so I'll be fine as soon as I wake up. Is Zhennan charged you with Chongxi? The uncle laughed. He gave me joy. Don't say, it's really the case, but it was him who was happy, and it was him who paid the money, and he was taken a lot of money. Guo Xiang pursed his lips and smiled. Do you want to eat fish? No money, just take 2. This fish is only delicious if it is fried by pigs, but who has the extra oil? No one eats it, let it go. The uncle said. How about that, I can't take your things for nothing. Guo Xiang said quickly. The big carp in the town only costs 1 yuan per catty. No one wants such a small fish. The uncle shook his head, take it, you are welcome. Guo Xiang picked 2 fairly large crucian carp from the bucket, plucked a wicker twig from the willow tree next to him, skewered the fish's cheeks, and carried it, which was about half a catty, and forced it to the uncle. 50 cents. It's also hard for people to fish, so you can't get it in vain. The best tofu with crucian carp, you have to buy 2 pieces of tofu. Master, is anyone in the village selling tofu? Guo Xiang asked. Yes. The uncle nodded, the old man Lu's home in the east of the village makes tofu. You go early, and it will be gone when you arrive late. The heat can't help it this day, and he won't do more. Okay, thank you, uncle. Guo Xiang nodded. Looking at the back of Guo Xiang carrying the fish away, the girl is very polite. Guo Xiang went to the old man Lu's house that the uncle said and bought another pound of tofu for only 2 cents. At this time, the things were really cheap, she sighed. But old man Lu said that he sells it in the village. If the town supply and marketing cooperative buys tofu tickets, Guo Xiang then remembers that this is the age when everything is required. It can't help but have a headache and it's too inconvenient. Walking home with fish and tofu, Guo Xiang thought that he could finally change his taste. As soon as she walked to the door, there was a scream from the door. Guo's heart-piercing cry came out, which shocked her. hurriedly opened the door, only to see Guo kneeling on the ground and crying watching Wang Guiying, while Wang Guiying fell to the ground, his forehead was bleeding out of nowhere. Guo, what's the matter? Guoxiang quickly put the things on his hand to the side and went to help Wang Guiying. It's the uncle and the auntie, they came to grab things and push the mother. Gu Guo pointed to the hall while sobbing. Guoxiang was angry when he heard it. Wadi stood up, and Wang Guiying quickly grabbed her. Xiang, forget it, there's just something at home, and they will leave after eating. Mother, that's all our food and eggs. Guo said as he cried, we don't want to eat it ourselves, why are they? Mother, it's okay, I'll go take a look. Guoxiang pushed away Wang Guiying's hand. Don't go, your aunt is a famous shrew in the village, you can't beat her. Wang Guiying said anxiously. Can't beat? Guoxiang sneered and let them see my skills. Guoxiang walked into the living room. On the dining table were 3 bowls of white rice and a large plate of fried eggs. 2 elderly people and a 6 or 7-year-old child were preparing to eat. Stop it all! Guoxiang yelled, shocking the 3 of them. Who are you? Who let you in? Gu Jianmin looked at Guoxiang with a calm face. I should ask you this sentence. This is my house. Why do you come in and eat my food? Guoxiang asked. Your family. Are you Zhennan's wife? Aunt Gu looked at Guoxiang suspiciously, didn't he marry a fool? Don't worry about me being stupid or not, who let you in? Give me all out. Guoxiang walked over. I'm your auntie, why can't we come in? Aunt Gu looked up at Guoxiang, and lit her hand outside. Look at your mother-in-law, you have such good food at home and you lied to us to say no, and want to borrow some food. They refused. Zhennan earns so much every year and refuses to borrow some money. The conscience is really eaten by dogs. That is, I don't have eggs for me to eat. I want to eat them. I will eat them all. See what else you eat. The child also said viciously, picking up the chopsticks and putting it in the egg. Guoxiang took the chopsticks at hand and hit the child's hand. With a pop, the child jumped up with pain. Milk, she beat me, beat her to death. Do you dare to beat my grandson? Looking for death. Aunt Gu stood up abruptly, raised her slap and slapped Guoxiang in the face. Guoxiang grabbed her hand, twisted it hard, and twisted it to her back. Aunt Gu cried out in pain, it hurts, let go, my hand is going to be broken. You stinky lady, rebellious. Gu Jianmin stood up, with a look of een, he picked up the bench and threw him on Guoxiang. Xiang, be careful. Wang Guiying who came to the door yelled in surprise. Guoxiang slammed Aunt Gu to the ground with a block, raised his long legs and kicked forward. Gu Jianmin was kicked out, hitting the side wall and screaming in pain. Old man. Aunt Gu lost her face in shock, rushed to help Gu Jianmin, and screamed in panic, how are you injured? Seeing that the kid on the other side couldn't eat it anymore, he picked up the egg on the table and smashed it on the ground, you won't let me eat it, and I won't let you eat it. Guoxiang's eyes are quick, he grabbed the plate, and looked at the child coldly, bear child, right? Guo, come, put away these meals. Guoxiang called. Hey! Seeing that her sister-in-law was so powerful, Guo ran in, took 3 bowls of rice into his arms and ran to the kitchen. She was afraid that the rice would hit the ground later if she didn't take it away, then waste it. Let go. Guoxiang stared at the child, and she didn't want to hit the child without a last resort. Bah! Xiong's child spit into the egg bowl, Guoxiang's eyes were quick, his other hand blocked, and the saliva was spit on her hand. This really angered her, and the bear child owed a lot to clean up. She didn't mind helping his family to educate him. With a pop, he slapped the bear child on the forehead. The bear child was in pain and started crying. End of this chapter. Reborn wife strikes back in the 80s. Chapter 6, I'll be there later. I will be after chapter 6. Strong. Gu Jianmin and Aunt Gu suddenly felt distressed, yelling and rushed towards Guoxiang, and grabbed her face and body with their teeth and dancing claws. Guoxiang picked up a thin bamboo leaning against the wall, and pulled it down towards the calves of the two of them. Ah, the two jumped up screaming. Although the bamboo is not big, but it hurts. Get out of here. Guoxiang roared, holding the bamboo in one hand and pointing to the two of them while holding the plate of scrambled eggs steadily in the other. Guo came over quickly. Sister-in-law, give me the egg. Guoxiang nodded and passed the egg bowl over. She was also worried that she would accidentally beat the bowl later. Guo cautiously walked toward the kitchen holding the egg bowl. Just 2 steps, the bear kid suddenly stretched out his foot and stumbled under Guo. Guo screamed and fell down uncontrollably, and the egg bowl in his hand almost fell out. Guoxiang straddled his long legs and leaned forward, holding Guo's back collar with one hand, and lifting her back into his arms. Guo was still in shock, still holding the egg bowl firmly in his hand. Guoxiang is really on fire. Let go of Guo, and pick up the bear child's ears. You dare to make trouble, see if I can't kill you. Of course it's just to scare him, and it doesn't really do anything to the child. But the bear child was scared, struggling hard and crying. Gu Jianmin pointed at Guoxiang while touching his painful leg. You dare to beat my grandson and try, I'll work hard with you. Aunt Gu yelled, kill, come on, kill. Guoxiang sneered, his eyes full of fierceness, don't irritate me, who doesn't know I'm a fool? I'm a fool, understand? The kind of killing that doesn't pay for your life, kills for nothing. Do you want to try? The 2 old men were frightened and stupefied. This woman looked fierce and looked like she really dared to kill. They knew that a fool did not have to pay for his life. If the grandson was really killed by the fool, how could he confess to his son? Let's run first. You wait. Gu Jianmin persuaded, and pointed at Guoxiang viscerally. He held his grandson and ran out of his old lady. As soon as they left, Guoxiang picked up the overturned things in the hall, and Wang Guiying walked in with lingering fear. Xiang. Mother, how are you? Does your head hurt? Guoxiang hurriedly went to help Wang Guiying. Seeing that there was still blood on her head, he asked hurriedly, how is your injury? Do you want to go to the clinic? No, I'm fine. Why do you spend that money? Wang Guiying waved her hand quickly, just put some stove ash in the stove and put it on. How can I do that? Guoxiangjing said, this kind of earthwork is the most important. Mother, your head is broken, it is easy to get inflammation without medicine, and it will be troublesome when it rots. I will buy medicine. No need, there are medicines in the house. Wang Guiying hurriedly stopped Guoxiang. Jinan put some medicine at home before, you should go to the chest of drawers to find it, you should have it. Guoxiang helped Wang Guiying to sit down on the bench, and hurriedly went back to his room to search for medicine, but there was only a small bottle of red potion and a little cotton wool, which may have been leftovers from the previous use. Guoxiang took the medicine back to the hall, wiped the blood from Wang Guiying's forehead with cotton wool, and then applied the red potion. Fortunately, the wound was not big, but it was broken a little. The red potion barely worked. Mother, do you feel dizzy? Does it hurt? Guoxiang asked. She didn't know how Wang Guiying knocked it out, and she was afraid that her head might be injured. No, I'm fine. Wang Guiying shook her head and grabbed Guoxiang's hand. Xiang, thanks to you today, but I offended your uncle. I am afraid that the future will be difficult. Wang Guiying worried. Mother, don't worry, there is me. They dare not do anything to us. Blindly forbearing will only make them gain an inch. People who are good to be bullied by others, Mashan is being ridden by others, we are weak and they will only become more and more bullying on us. Guoxiang Jinjin said. Yes. Guo brought the eggs out from the kitchen again. We weren't swallowed before. But they are getting too much every year. My mother used to say that forbearance and tolerance is fine, but they come to grab our food at this time of the year. We don't have any food. Why did they steal us? Mother won't let the eldest brother tell me, otherwise the eldest brother will definitely not let it go. Them. It's better to do more than to do less. It's not easy for your eldest brother to be in the unit, so don't tell him. Wang Guiying sighed, now is the time when the green and yellow are not picking up, and everyone is not having a good time. Then we will be better off. Guo pouted. Don't you still have your eldest brother? Wang Guiying smiled bitterly. Then it should be ours. Our family doesn't owe them. Guo said angrily. Don't talk back to your mother. Guoxiang nodded Guo's forehead. There will be sisters in the future, don't be afraid of them. Sister-in-law, you are so amazing. Guo raised her head with bright eyes. Just now, her sister-in-law was so amazing. She had never seen a woman fight like this. It was not an ordinary shrew fight, it seemed to have real skills. Sister-in-law, do you know Kung Fu? Guo looked at Guoxiang with admiration. A little bit. Guoxiang touched Guo's head. I will teach you when I have time. Really? Guo was pleasantly surprised. What do girls learn from each other? Wang Guiying muttered. She was surprised that her daughter-in-law had skill, but she still felt that girls could not fight well. It's okay to learn, Guo, a girl must learn to protect herself. Guoxiang smiled, don't say that you can protect your family even in the village in the future. I will not be there anymore, and I can rest assured that she is there. What does it mean that you are gone? Guo was surprised, you just said that you don't have to be afraid of them in the future. Where are you going? Wang Guiying also looked at Guoxiang nervously. I said that I missed my mouth. Guoxiang pursed his mouth and chuckled, no, I mean I might go to your brother and his unit to find him, don't you rely on you to protect my mother when I am away. Guoxiang hit ha. Wang Guiying breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that. She was shocked just now, thinking that her daughter-in-law was leaving. In the past, the daughter-in-law was a fool, but now she is so good, is she not looking down on her son? I felt relieved after listening to her explanation. She knew that when they got married, they didn't make up their room. The son has not been at home for many years, when can he be pregnant? The son has no time to come back, but the daughter-in-law has to go to his place, don't he want to leave home? Well, I will learn Kung Fu from my sister-in-law from tomorrow. Guo nodded and looked at Guoxiang in admiration. She didn't expect her sister-in-law to know Kung Fu. Big brother knows Kung Fu, but he said that girls don't need to learn, just have him in the family. But he has not been at home for many years, and his second elder brother is studying in the county again. There is no man in the family, and sometimes it is hard to avoid being bullied. If he has the skill, he will not be afraid of being bullied in the future. Guo looked at Guoxiang, the more she liked it, because Guo Jialai had a big betrothal gift before, and she hated her so much, and thought she was a fool and didn't look down upon her. Unexpectedly, she is not only not stupid, but also cultural, but now she can actually do martial arts, and she has also saved herself and her mother, which is really amazing. She suddenly felt that her elder brother married his sister-in-law, not bad luck but luck. Mother, this egg. Guo looked at the egg on the table and licked his lips, really wanting to eat. Eat it, it's all fried, and it's wasted if you don't eat it. Wang Guiying said sadly. This is an egg that has been saved for a long time, and he is planning to sell it to the town to save money to pay the tuition for Guo. What a pity it was fired. What about the rice? Guo asked again. That is 3 bowls of rice, which can cook many meals of sweet potato porridge. Take a bowl of sweet potato porridge, put the 2 bowls away and eat tomorrow. Wang Guiying said. Mother, eat it all, if you don't eat it, it will be broken tomorrow. Guoxiang said, now that the weather is hot and there is no refrigerator at home, where can I put it? But, after eating, there is no more rice. Wang Guiying said distressedly. Guoxiang feels a little sour in her heart. Life is really hard now. She doesn't even have to eat. This was something she couldn't imagine in her previous life. End of this chapter. Reborn Wife Strikes Back in the 80s. Chapter 7, This Is Your Home. Chapter 7, This Is Your Home. I still have a few dollars here. I will buy a few kilograms of grain to come back tomorrow. Guoxiang took out the remaining $4 in his pocket. Wang Guiying looked at the money in her hand in surprise. She actually has money. Did the Guo family give it to her or his son to give it to her? But it's her own anyway, how can the mother-in-law ask for money from the daughter-in-law? That's yours, you keep it for yourself. Wang Guiying shook her head and said. Mother, I am your daughter-in-law. What is yours? This is what Jinan left for me, and it is for my family. Guoxiang smiled. In her previous life, she had heard many things about her mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. She knew that her mother-in-law was not a mother, so she didn't have much hope for the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. However, Wang Guiying is a good person. She treats herself well and compares her heart to her heart. She should also reciprocate her love. What Jinan left you is yours. You didn't buy you a new dress or a pair of new shoes for your marriage. I really can't help you. Wang Guiying said embarrassedly, and did not expect the Guo family to have a dowry. No company. Mother, I should say I'm sorry. Guoxiang said. This marriage came from the Guo family, and she was embarrassed. Mother, I want to eat white rice. Guo said at the right time, looking at his mother pitifully, then at the rice on the table, swallowing. Wang Guiying sighed. It was when the child was growing up, but he did not have a good meal of white rice, which was very distressed. Then, eat it. Wang Guiying smiled bitterly. Ha, there is rice to eat. Guo cheered. Guoxiang's nose is sore, when is it a luxury to have a full meal? She touched Guo's little head. Guo, don't worry, there is a sister-in-law here, so you can eat white rice every day. Guo's eyes were bright, and I don't know how she felt that her sister-in-law would be able to do what she said. Oh, yes. Guoxiang patted his forehead. I also bought fish and tofu. I forgot all this trouble. There are more fish to eat. Guo was pleasantly surprised. Guoxiang hurriedly walked back to the yard. He just put the fish and tofu on the pig dish. Fortunately, Uncle Gu didn't see it when they went out, otherwise they would definitely be dropped off. Guoxiang carried the fish and tofu into the hall, and Wang Guiying greeted him. He wondered what to do with the money, and he was still happy. Mother, you are injured, let me do it. Guoxiang said, and then shut up again. He couldn't. Guo, do it, I will teach you. Guoxiang waved to Guo. I will come, and she will not. Wang Guiying said. No, we can do it, mother, you go to rest. Guoxiang hurriedly pressed Wang Guiying. Although she can't do it, she knows how to do it. Because she has the ability to remember her, she watched her mother make it in her previous life, and she learned it by watching TV programs, and what she saw in the book. She had a lot of recipes in her head, but she seldom practiced it. One is that her family does not need her to do it, and the other is that she doesn't know how to heat and the amount of seasoning, but only has a method, so she can teach others to do it, but she can't do it herself. She also tried it in her previous life, but it was either cooked raw or charred, or not too salty or not too light. She has no talent for cooking. But it is a living recipe. Okay, sister-in-law, teach me. Guo said with a smile. The children of the poor are in charge early. Although there is Wang Guiying in the family, Guo does not do less housework at all. The mother is hard, and the brothers are not at home. She only needs to be a little bit more so that she will not be so hard. The fish is processed first, the scales are scraped, and the internal organs are removed. Guoxiang said. If there is fish oil and fish eggs left. Wang Guiying said. Guoxiang smiled and didn't say a word. Naturally, he was reluctant to throw it away when he had nothing to eat. However, if the fish is too small, there are no fish eggs. The water is too small. Guo takes out all the internal organs and wants to throw away. Wang Guiying feels distressed and throws the internal organs to the chicken. Put some oil in the pot, cut 2 slices of ginger, 2 green onions, put the fish down and fry, wait until the fish is browned on both sides, pour some wine. If there is no wine, just add water. Guoxiang said. Yes, sweet potato wine is brewed at home. Wang Guiying added another sentence and poured some wine from the kitchen cabinet. Guo scooped a spoonful of lard as she said, and when she fell a little, Wang Guiying shouted from the side, enough is enough, don't pour too much. Guoxiang couldn't laugh or cry. Heat the slices and shallots in the oil, wait until the end shallot sauté, put the crucian carp, fried on both sides, the fish smell comes out. Pour in a little wine, let out a hot gas with a chi, and then pour in water, cover the pot to increase the fire, and the fish soup will turn white in a while. Cut the tofu into the pot and continue to cook, and the scent of fish mixed with the scent of and green onions floated out of the pot. It's so fragrant. Guo sniffed. It's been a long time since she had eaten such fragrant dishes. When the tofu was almost burnt, Guoxiang asked, "Mother, do you have perilla at home? Putting 2 slices will make it more fishy." "There are in the ground, I will pick it." Wang Guiying said. Went to the backyard, picked a few pieces of perilla, rinsed them with water, and handed them to Guo. Guo threw the perilla into the pot and cooked it for another 2 minutes, the aroma became more intense. Season with salt, sprinkle with chopped green onion, and the crucian tofu soup will be out of the pot. The milky white soup and the emerald green onion swelled my appetite when I looked at it. Guo swallowed while pouring the fish soup, it was so fragrant. Today is too rich, like a Chinese New Year. Guo looked at the yellow eggs on the table and the scented crucian tofu, with a smile on his face. Guoxiang feels a little bit sorrowful in his heart. 1 bowl of eggs and 1 bowl of fish is the new year. In the previous life, I was tired of eating the delicacies of the mountains and the sea, and the big fish and the meat were not interested at all. But now they are so happy with such a simple meal. Was it too extravagant before? Hurry up and eat. Guoxiang said lovingly, touching Guo's little head. Well, sister-in-law, you can eat too. Guo nodded heavily, his eyes crooked with a smile, white rice, fish and eggs, so happy. Wang Guiying feels distressed, but she is still happy to see her daughter so happy and daughter-in-law so filial. Eat more. Guoxiang squeezed fish meat to Guo, and Wang Guiying was reluctant to eat it, so he ate fish heads without meat. Sister-in-law, you eat too. Guo smiled and gave Guoxiang an egg. From now on, she honestly admitted that Guoxiang was her sister-in-law. Wang Guiying looked at the sensible two, very pleased. Well, it's delicious, Guo is really good. Guoxiang praised while drinking fish soup. It's my sister-in-law, you taught me well. Guo said with a smile. This is the first time she has made such a delicious dish. Sister-in-law, you still said that you can't do it, isn't that good? Guo asked curiously. I won't, I just read the recipe, remember to do it. Guoxiang smiled, a little embarrassed. It's okay, sister-in-law, I will do it in the future, you can tell me how to do it. Guo smiled. Okay. Guoxiang nodded, pointing to his head, I have a lot of recipes here, this fish soup is still my mother's method, and there are other. Your mother? Wang Guiying and Guo both looked at Guoxiang in surprise. Is this the of the Guo family? Guoxiang put down his bowl and chopsticks, actually, I am not the biological child of the Guo family. I was only rescued by the Guo family a year ago, and then stayed at her house in a daze. Years later, I fell into the water again and met Jinan, but the result was. Then why don't you go home? Guo asked curiously. I have amnesia. Guoxiang smiled bitterly, I don't know who I am or where I am from now. I only vaguely remember what happened this year. The taste of this fish soup is very familiar, and it feels like a mother's taste in my mind. In fact, I don't remember who and where my mother is. Guoxiang was surprised, not that he didn't remember, but the world doesn't exist at all. Sister-in-law. Guo looked at Guoxiang sympathetically. It turned out that this was the case. It turned out that Guo Jiazheng's eldest brother and sister-in-law didn't know it at all, and she didn't mean it. And she has amnesia and can't even remember where she is at home, which is really pitiful. Xiang, don't be sad. Wang Guiying stretched out her hand to cover Guoxiang's hand and patted, from now on, this will be your home, and you will be my daughter. Jinan dares to treat you badly, and I can't forgive it. Mother. Guoxiang's heart moved slightly. The phrase, this is your home, moved her very much. She, a modern person who has not experienced any hardship, has traveled here, homeless and helpless, if I don't know how to live my life when I meet a wicked mother-in-law. Wang Guiying is an uneducated rural woman, but she is a kind-hearted and reasonable person. She is very fortunate to be here. She thought that even if she divorced Gu Zhenan in the future, she would treat Wang Guiying as her mother and Guo as her own sister. End of this chapter. Reborn wife strikes back in the 80s. Chapter 8, Broken Leg. Chapter 8, Broken Leg. The three of them had a full meal. Guo patted his belly and smiled happily. Guoxiang was also very satisfied with his meal. Now the fish and eggs are natural and organic, and they are particularly fragrant, which you could not eat in the previous life, delicious. Wang Guiying was worried. She ran out of food, and her son had to eat sweet potatoes every day before sending the money back. She was not afraid, it was Guo and Guoxiang, for fear that they would not be used to it. Mother, don't worry, I'm going to buy some grain. Do you know who has surplus grain? Guoxiang asked. At this time, only the village head's house is left. Wang Guiying said, go back tomorrow, it's late tonight, be careful of wrestling when the road is slippery in the dark. Mother, it's okay, you forgot that I have kung fu. Guoxiang smiled. If you don't buy today, there will be no food tomorrow. She will be fine if she doesn't eat, and Guo can't make her hungry when she is young. Be careful, then. Wang Guiying said, taking the flashlight from the house and plugging it into Guoxiang's hand, it's not easy to walk through the rain. Slow down. Hey, I see. Guoxiang answered happily after taking the flashlight. When I arrived at the village chief's house, I bought 20 caddies of grain for 4 yuan, which was originally a dime per caddy. However, Guoxiang didn't bring the food stamps and spent 20 cents per caddy. No food stamps. Guoxiang carried 20 caddies of grain and walked back. The road was very muddy. Because it had rained everywhere, there were pits, and some places had collapsed. She walked very carefully, in case the grain fell and soiled, it would be clean even if the weather was clean. It is easy to get moldy. Suddenly, there was a humming sound in front of him, intermittently. Although Guoxiang is an atheist, there are so many things in the world that cannot be explained by science. Thinking of some ghost legends that she had heard before, her chills stood up, and she cried out in shock, who is it? There. I picked up the flashlight and looked at the sound. I found that there was a half-old bicycle on the ground. Then I took a photo. An old man with half-white hair fell into a ditch next to him. Maybe he was injured and his face turned pale. Groaning in his mouth. Guoxiang breathed a sigh of relief, it turned out to be a human. Hurriedly found a slightly dry place to put down the grain, jumped into the ditch to help the elderly. Uncle, how are you? Where did it fall? As soon as he helped the person, the uncle screamed, in pain, slow down, my leg is broken. Huh? Guoxiang was surprised, his leg broken so badly. Carefully lifted the uncle to his feet, sat on the edge of the ditch, and slowly moved his legs up. I picked up the flashlight and found a place to put it. According to the uncle's leg, he lifted his trousers up, and gently pressed his fingers on the calf to probe. When he touched the dislocation, the old man let out another painful cry, sure enough. Fractured. Uncle, you are very injured, I'll take you to the hospital. Guoxiang said quickly. No, just take me home. The old man waved his hand. How about you, your leg is broken, how can you not send it to the hospital? It's not a joke that your leg is broken. Guoxiang was anxious. She knows that the country people are poor and reluctant to spend money on treatment, but a broken leg is a big deal. If you become disabled in order to save a little money, it will not be worth the loss. No, I am a doctor myself. Just send me home. The old man shook his head. Guoxiang only noticed that there was a medicine box tied to the back seat of the bicycle. This uncle should be a barefoot doctor in the village, right? She knows that medical conditions are not good at this time. There are no formal hospitals in the countryside. Generally, barefoot doctors open a simple health clinic. The villagers have a headache and brain fever to get an injection and prescribe some medicine, but can he treat a broken leg? But your leg is broken. Guoxiang was anxious. It's okay, I can treat it myself. The old man insisted, if you refuse to send me home, then forget it, I will go back by myself. The old man was struggling to get up, Guoxiang hurriedly held him down, his leg was broken and he walked and the misalignment became more serious. Okay, can't I send you back? Guoxiang compromised. The old man was really stubborn. She took a flashlight and took a photo next to her. She picked up 2 thicker branches as splints and placed them on both sides of the old man's calves. She looked in the medicine box and found 2 circles of bandages. The old man's legs were fixed to the branches with the bandages. Get up to avoid secondary damage. The old man looked at Guoxiang in surprise. Is this girl good at doctors? Fixed the old man's legs, Guoxiang supported the bicycle and put it in a stable place. Supported the tripod, carefully lifted the old man up to the back seat and sat down, took up his own 20 caddies of grain and placed it on the front crossbar, turned his head and asked, Uncle, where is your home? At the west end of the village, beside the Meihua River. The uncle said. Okay, I'll take you home. Guoxiang nodded, and he felt that something was amiss when he pushed the bicycle up. After taking a photo with a flashlight, he found that the bicycle chain was broken. No wonder the uncle would fall. There is no other way but to push away. Waiting to the west of the village, Guoxiang followed the instructions of the uncle to the door of an earthen house with a red cross hung on it, parked the bicycle and helped the uncle down. The uncle handed the key to Guoxiang and asked her to open the door. After pulling the light cord by the door, the room suddenly lit up. Guoxiang looked at the house while helping the uncle into the house. There is a glass counter in the door, some commonly used Western medicines are placed in the cabinet, and there is a white wooden chair on the side. There is a wooden medicine cabinet behind the counter. The small drawers are supposed to contain Chinese medicine. The Western medicine is lined up in the front, and there is also an aluminum box for needles. It seems that people usually get injections. Guoxiang sat down on the white chair with his uncle, folded his trousers and looked at it again. It was too dark to see clearly outside, and now there are some injuries. I found alcohol, cotton wool and tweezers on the medicine cabinet, took the tweezers, held the cotton wool and moistened the alcohol, and wiped the wound on the old man's leg. After washing the wound, looking at the serious place, I found a bottle of Yunnan Baiyao sprinkled with powder and wrapped it with gauze. When doing this, the old man didn't say a word. He just watched her do it in silence and watched her proficiently cleaning and dressing. He was even more sure that she had studied medicine. Master, your wound is okay, but if this leg is broken, I can't help it. I can't get bones. Guoxiang said. Although it was a rotation in the general department during the internship, she was not a major in orthopedics after all, and she was afraid that the connection would cause harm instead. I'll do it myself. The old man said. Gently lifted the injured leg, asked Guoxiang to take a low stool to stand up, untie the bandage that Guoxiang had tied just now, press his calf with both hands, and only listen to a click sound. A layer of cold sweat broke out on the old man's forehead. Help me retie it. The old man exhaled, his face getting paler, and it seemed that the pain was serious. Is this all right? Guoxiang was surprised. He gently pressed the part that was misplaced with his hand. It seemed that he didn't touch any raised areas. Is this connected? Guoxiang was shocked. She had never seen a doctor who helped her bones after studying medicine for so long. This old man is not simple, at least not worse than her previous tutors in terms of bones. Guoxiang found a splint again to fix the old man's calf, and found some anti-inflammatory medicine from the medicine cabinet for the old man to take. He glanced at Guoxiang, and there was no objection, so he took it silently. End of this chapter. Reborn Wife Strikes Back in the 80s. Chapter 9, Dr. G. Chapter 9, Dr. G. After all this, Guoxiang was also a little tired, so he found a chair and sat down. Thank you just now. What is your name? The old man asked Guoxiang. Guoxiang, Xiang of southern Hunan. Guoxiang said. You're not from our village, are you a guest? I haven't seen you before. The old man asked again. I belong to Gu Zhennan's house. Guoxiang explained, the daughter-in-law who just came in. Gu's family, Didn't you hear that his family married a fool? The old man looked at Guoxiang, and he didn't look like a fool. Guoxiang smiled awkwardly. I used to be a little confused in my mind. I just got up in the past 2 days. Have you studied medicine before? The old man asked next. I don't know. Guoxiang replied vaguely, pointing to his head. I just woke up just now, and I can't remember everything. Amnesia? The old man frowned. It should be. Guoxiang nodded. I only remember that I was not born to the Guo family. As for where I came from and where my home is, I don't even remember. Let me see for you. The old man stretched out his hand. Guoxiang didn't react for a while. What do you think? Sit here, stretch out your hand, I will help you get your pulse. The old man said. Guoxiang raises his eyebrows. The old man still has his pulse. Normal barefoot doctors don't understand this. She pulled the chair closer, and the old man took out a pulse pillow from the counter and signaled her to put her wrist up, and then put her finger on her pulse to take a serious diagnosis. Guoxiang is very curious. In her previous life, she studied Western medicine. Although she had heard of Chinese medicine, she did not have any contact with it. Except for a few well-known national-level old Chinese medicine practitioners, most of the Chinese medicine skills were not good. Therefore, there are not many people who believe in Chinese medicine in later generations. Most people still see Western medicine. The old man took Guoxiang's pulse very seriously, frowned. It seems that there is no problem, and there is no stasis in the head. Has it been stimulated? From the pulse phase, there is no problem with the body, but I don't know if you have experienced any shock before. If so, it is a heart disease and it is difficult to treat. The old man shook his head and said. Guoxiang pursed his mouth, and didn't know if the old man really didn't see anything or he said casually. Of course, she knew that her body was okay. The amnesia was just nonsense by herself. As for the crossing, she naturally couldn't tell. However, at least the elderly can see that their health is okay. Unlike some people who say they are sick if they are not sick, the elderly still have medical ethics from this point of view. Then there is nothing wrong with me, I will go back first. Guoxiang stood up. The old man nodded, thank you today. Raise your hand. Guoxiang smiled lightly and walked home. Wang Guiying was walking anxiously at the door when she walked to the door, and saw Guoxiang come back and hurriedly greeted him. Why have been there for so long, what happened? It's okay. Guoxiang felt warm. His mother-in-law was so touched that she cared about herself. When I came back, I met an old man who fell and helped him go home, so I came back late. So this is the case. Wang Guiying nodded, looked at Guoxiang's hand, and asked in surprise, isn't the food bought? Guoxiang patted his forehead, yeah, forgot, it should have fallen into that old man's house. I'll get it right away. Which old man? Wang Guiying asked nervously. I'm a doctor, living in the west of the village. Guoxiang said. Wang Guiying breathed a sigh of relief immediately. That's Dr. Ji, named Ji Chonglin, who is the only doctor in our village. If it's his family, it's okay, and others won't be greedy for our things. It's too late today. Go and get them tomorrow. But tomorrow morning there will be no more rice to cook. Guoxiang said. It's okay, I used to eat sweet potatoes often, and I can't die without rice. Wang Guiying smiled. It's too late today, and she is not worried about letting Guoxiang a girl go out. What if something happens? Go back to the house and rest first. Wang Guiying said while bolting the courtyard door. How many caddies did you buy? I spent 4 yuan, and bought 20 caddies. Guoxiang said. How can I buy so many? Wang Guiying felt a little painful. Buy more and you will be able to survive this month. You always have to eat. Guoxiang laughed. How much is a caddy? Wang Guiying asked again. 2 cents. Guoxiang replied. Oh, why is it so expensive? Isn't it 6 cents? Wang Guiying stopped. Yes, but I forgot to bring the food stamps, so it is more expensive, the village chief said. Guoxiang said. Wang Guiying nodded, blame me, you forgot to remind you to bring food stamps when you left. There are some food stamps at home. The food stamps were brought back by Gu Zhenan from the work unit. You don't need food stamps to buy food in the countryside. It is inevitable that sometimes you have to go to the city and you will have to use food stamps when you enter the city. It's a bit more expensive without food stamps. Gu Zhenan is in other provinces, and the food stamps are not universal. He always exchanged the national food stamps and brought them back, which is better than ordinary food stamps. It's okay, mother, the food stamps will be useful later. Guoxiang comforted Wang Guiying. By the way, you said that Dr. Ji wrestled, is it serious? Wang Guiying asked. It's very serious. I broke my leg. Guoxiang said, but Dr. Ji is very good, so he connected the leg himself, and it hurts. Broken leg? Wang Guiying exclaimed, then I will go to see with you tomorrow morning. Dr. Ji has good medical skills and is a good person. We rely on him for medical treatment in our entire village. He is not expensive, and some of them have no money at home. He doesn't charge any medical fees, he is a good person. Really? Guoxiang thoughtfully, it seems that he was right. But she doesn't know if she has high medical skills. After all, this country has colds and fevers and some minor illnesses, and most doctors can do it. As for bones, perhaps they are inherited from the ancestors. Many Chinese medicine doctors rely on a craft to last their lives. The next day was the weekend. Guo didn't have to go to school. In the morning, everyone had sweet potatoes. Wang Guiying and Guoxiang discussed together to see Dr. Ji, and brought the food back by the way. When he arrived at Dr. Ji's house, he was already sitting in the hall with the door open, but no one was seeing a doctor. Dr. Ji is early, have you had breakfast? Wang Guiying greeted Ji Chonglin. Ji Chonglin shook his head, not yet, my legs are inconvenient. I heard my daughter-in-law say, come here and see if I can help you, or should I help you make breakfast? Wang Guiying said. That's troublesome. Ji Chonglin nodded without being polite. Guoxiang saw that he was on his own, and his 20 caddies of grain were still there, so he took the grain down. Did you forget it last night? Just wait to take the food away. Ji Chonglin glanced at Guoxiang. Yeah. Guoxiang nodded and looked at the bicycle with the broken chain. The chain of your bicycle is broken. Let me fix it for you. Will you? Ji Linchang looked at Guoxiang curiously. Try it. Guoxiang smiled and took off the chain. A glance at the broken part, the chain bolts are all there, but they are loose so they took off. I asked Ji Chonglin if he had any tools. I found a hammer and a screwdriver in the toolbox, fastened the chain and the bolt, put a screwdriver on the bolt, buckled the chains on both sides, and used a hammer to drive the bolt in. The chain just connected. Then put the chain on the bicycle axle, shake the pedal, the chain can work normally, this is repaired. Ji Chonglin looked at Guoxiang in surprise. This girl is quite capable and understands medical skills. It seems that she is not an ordinary person. It's a pity that I am amnesia, otherwise I can't be reduced to this small place. End of this chapter. Reborn wife strikes back in the 80s. Chapter 10, Grab food. Chapter 10 Grab. On the other side, Wang Guiying made sweet potato rice for Ji Chonglin, took a few kimchi as side dishes, and brought him to eat. Country folks usually eat these for breakfast, and Ji Chonglin didn't say anything. Wang Guiying saw that there was nothing wrong and called Guoxiang to go home together. When he was about to go out, Ji Chonglin suddenly said, Gu's sister-in-law, it's not convenient for me to break my leg. I hire your daughter-in-law to take care of me. How about my wages? Huh? Wang Guiying was surprised and looked at Guoxiang a little embarrassed. She knew that her daughter-in-law could not do housework, and it was inconvenient for her to take care of an old man as a young girl. My daughter-in-law can't cook, I'm afraid she can't. Wang Guiying said euphemistically. Can't cook. This time it was Ji Chonglin's turn to be surprised. Seeing that Guoxiang is so capable, he can't cook. Guoxiang blushed and chuckled, I really can't cook, I didn't use my brain before. Guoxiang pointed to his head and teased himself. Why do you want me to do it for you? Wang Guiying said, Dr. Ji, you are a doctor in our village. You should take care of you. You don't need to pay. Why are you embarrassed to ask for your money for our medical treatment? Ji Changlin pondered for a moment, and said, but I don't like to owe favors. Otherwise, you come to cook for me, and your daughter-in-law will come over and I will teach her medicine. How about? Teach me medical skills. Guoxiang looked at Dr. Ji in surprise. Did he see something? Wang Guiying was excited. What you said is true. In the past, many people brought big presents and wanted to take Dr. Ji as a teacher, but he refused, but he was actually willing to accept Xiangxiang. This is Xiangxiang's blessing. I'm a person who is kind and must repay me. She helped me yesterday. Ji Changlin said, meaning that he would use his medical skills to return Guoxiang. That's great. Wang Guiying agreed, of course she couldn't ask for it. Dr. Ji, who is skilled in medicine, would be the best if he is willing to teach his daughter-in-law, and there is only one doctor in the village. Dr. Ji will definitely hand over the health clinic to his daughter-in-law in the future. Then the daughter-in-law will become a doctor, and the son will again with a job. The days after that will be better. Guoxiang was a bit reluctant. She didn't want to be a village doctor and stayed in this country all her life. And she and Gu Zhennan are going to leave sooner or later. She will leave the village. It is impossible to live here for a long time. Wang Guiying did not see it. She happily pulled Guoxiang. Xiangxiang, hurry, call master. Ji Changlin saw that Guoxiang seemed a little reluctant, waved his hand and said, don't scream, let's study here for a few months. If she has talent, then formally apprentice. If she doesn't learn well, then forget it. Yes, that's natural. Wang Guiying was busy responding to Guoxiang. Generally, it takes several years for apprenticeships, but a few months is of course a good deal. Besides, she thinks her daughter-in-law will be able to learn well if she is so smart, and she will be able to apprentice successfully. Guoxiang didn't want to agree, but he was a bit unconvinced by Ji Changlin's words. What is his level? There are skills that you can never forget. Can you not learn well? I will show you my abilities. Maybe you will worship me as a teacher then. Ji Changlin couldn't help but smile when he saw Guoxiang's unconvinced expression. Then it is agreed. Wang Guiying was very happy. Xiangxiang is here to study medicine with you, and I will come over to cook for you 3 meals a day. Ji Changlin nodded and shook his head again. Why don't you be so troublesome? You take away my food, and you cook mine by the way when you cook, and I will give you another 10 yuan, and it will be used as vegetable money. How can I do that? How can I ask for your money? Wang Guiying quickly said, Xiangxiang is studying medicine in your place. We should honor you. However, there is really no money at home to buy vegetables, and Wang Guiying is very embarrassed. Then I will eat whatever you eat. I don't pick it, greens and radishes will do. Ji Changlin smiled. I'm so sorry. Wang Guiying's face blushed, but there is no shortage of vegetables at home, and the elderly can't eat much. Okay, I sometimes just pass a little kimchi at home. Dr. Ji said, now it's easier to cook without having to cook by myself. That line. Wang Guiying nodded, it's up to you. The grain is in the rice tank at the back. You can get it yourself. Dr. Ji pointed behind him. At this time, every family's food is limited. He lives by himself as a doctor and he is naturally more affluent than ordinary people. He usually cooks rice and eats. Of course, he can't ask Gu's family to post food to him. I still know. Hey, okay, I'll get it. Wang Guiying nodded hurriedly. Guoxiang went to pick up the grain. He had 20 caddies and Dr. Ji's. Wang Guiying would definitely not be able to take it back alone. I will help my mother get the food back first, and I will cook it at noon and then come back. Shall I start learning in the afternoon? Guoxiang said. Yes. Dr. Ji nodded, and he was very happy to see Guoxiangkan. The two walked home carrying food, and they heard Guo crying from inside as soon as they walked to the gate of the courtyard. Guoxiang and Wang Guiying looked at each other and rushed in. I saw that Guo's braid in the center of the courtyard was torn off, and there was a red palm print on his face, and he was crying. Standing next to them were Gu Jianmin and Aunt Gu, who had been here yesterday, as well as a short and fat man. Guo. Wang Guiying cried distressedly, and hurriedly put down the grain on her shoulders and rushed over. Guo, what's the matter? Guo Xiang also walked over. A lot of grain. Aunt Gu and Gu Jianmin saw Wang Guiying and Guo Xiang carrying 2 bags of grain, their eyes glowing like hungry wolves, and they rushed forward without a word. What do you want to do? Guo Xiang stood in front of Wang Guiying and Guo. On behalf of Kai, it is her. Yesterday she beat the strong and beat us. Aunt Gu turned her head and shouted at the son behind her. You beat my son. Gu Daikai walked over, looking at Guo Xiang ill-intentionally, and then at the grain on the ground, with a look of greed in his eyes. Then you also beat my mother and my sister, why don't you say it? Guo Xiang looked at the visitor angrily. That's why you don't borrow food first. Gu Daikai was arrogant. Oh, a joke, just borrow if you say it, why don't we have any food to lend you? If you don't borrow, then hit someone. If you can hit me, you can't fight back. What's the reason? Guo Xiang sneered. No food. I'm not afraid to flash my tongue. What is this? Gu Daikai pointed to the 2 bags of food on the ground, his eyes lighted up. This is not my house, it belongs to Dr. Ji. He broke his leg. Let us help him cook. Wang Guiying said quickly. Oh, you think I'm a 3-year-old kid, so cheating? Why did Dr. Ji let you cook for him? Gu Daikai sneered, don't talk so much nonsense, my parents and my son were hurt by you. I don't want too much, so I will pay us these 2 bags of grain, and the matter will be settled. How can it be done? How can 2 bags of food be enough? Yesterday, my precious grandson was terrified, not only to make them lose the food, but also to lose money. Aunt Gu said greedily. Yes, I have to lose money. Gu Jianmin echoed. Don't go too far. Wang Guiying was about to cry with anger. Sister-in-law. Guo pulled Guo Xiang's sleeve, raised his swollen face, aggrieved. Guo Xiang was so distressed, so the white and tender face was red and swollen from the beating. I don't know how much it hurts. Tell my sister-in-law who did the fight. Don't be afraid, my sister-in-law is up to you. Guo Xiang gently touched Guo's small face, comforting her. It's him. Guo pointed to Gu Daikai. Don't talk nonsense with her, get food if you don't have money. Gu Jianmin shouted again. Gu Daikai rushed up, bent down to get the grain bags on the ground. Go. As soon as Guo Xiang lifted his foot and kicked hard, Gu Daikai rolled out with his whole body. Guo burst into laughter when he saw his funny look, it was too funny. On behalf of money. Son. The 2 old men were shocked. Gu Daikai got up from the ground, his face flushed. He didn't expect Guo Xiang to kick him, let alone be so embarrassed. Yesterday, I heard 2 old people go back and said that they were beaten by the daughter-in-law of Gu's family only because they were useless. I didn't expect that this woman would really have 2 offenses. Do you dare to kick me? Gu Daikai became angry with shame, looked around, picked up a pole leaning on the side and rushed towards Guo Xiang. End of this chapter.